If you ever get a little tongue-tied when you're talking to people on the phone before they become clients, it might help to think about this consultation as if it was a pre-flight briefing. What does that mean? Not much, just the difference between life and death. For someone who's been a pilot for some years, it never ceases to amaze me at what an amazing air traffic system it is that we get to operate in. The envy of the civilized world, they say. For one thing, there's so many levels of safety before you take to the sky. The final layer being the pre-flight briefing. This is where you call the FAA and talk to a weather expert who tells you what's likely to happen during your flight, if they're doing their job. Hi, I'm Steve Washer, and this is the 5-Minute Authority, the place to get your business pre-flight briefing. So, in a pre-flight, there's two important things going on that are exactly like what should happen on a call with a potential client. First, like the pilot, our client needs to be willing to call in the first place and get the information they need to safely make their business take off. That's something we handle by engineering attraction. And second, the briefer, well, that's us in this scenario, needs to give this information without shading the facts and without a lot of emotion. Otherwise, in the case of the pilot, they might take unnecessary risks. Likewise, the potential client could make a bad decision about joining a program that's not good for them or not joining a program that is. In other words, both callers need to be straight with each other, but the program provider bears 95% of the burden to be thorough and accurate. I mean, who hasn't been on a call where they felt like the person was trying just a little too hard to talk them into something instead of empowering them to make a good decision? When you hear things like, oh, you're the kind of man who can make up his own mind, you need to talk to your wife first. Or, once I hang this up, the price goes up by $10,000. And I get it. In a world where inertia can keep us from making decisions, some people feel obliged to use verbal explosives to make their point. When if they simply had taken the time to create an attraction system, this useless scenario would never have felt necessary. But when you aren't operating at that level, this whole situation brought on by insecurity gets more and more absurd. So imagine you're a pilot talking to a weather expert who's feeling the urgency when you ask a question about a forecast. So is that cold front expected to get to the airport before we arrive? Hey, are you a winner or a loser? Well, I was just, wanting to figure out, hey, who wears the pants in your family? What would you think? Would you continue to see that briefer as an expert? Or, I can't tell you how many calls I've been on where the program vendor talked to me like that. Most of them, actually. But you know what? It's just as useless when the weather guy makes no recommendation at all. In fact, standard phraseology is that they tell you there's a problem by saying the words VFR flight not recommended. That means you can't fly unless you have an instrument rating. But what if the briefer didn't say that? So is this rain going to hit us on our route? Well, you'll have to check the chart. Well, we're both looking at the chart right now. What do you think? Yeah, you'll have to check the chart. Now, maybe it's just me, but I think that recommendation piece is important when you're on the phone with someone who's considering joining your program. As long as they're asking for your recommendation, as in, do you think I should take this program? I mean, yes, of course, that trust can be abused with blatant manipulation, but it can also be evaded by forcing your prospect to make a decision without the critical information they need. And I understand that it might feel pushy to make a recommendation, but it's actually just care, protection, and guidance. They literally asked you for it. And it can be done in a respectful way, simply by answering, well, from everything you tell me, and from looking at your goals and capabilities, I think this would help you. Would you like to hear more about it? Or sometimes just, yes, I do, and let it go at that. Or it's the other side of the coin. Well, I'm glad we got to talk about this first because I actually think there's a better route for you at this point. Would you like to hear about it? So yes, part of that information is going to be a recommendation, whatever it is. Join us, don't join us, join them, join this other thing we have. When we think like a pre-flight briefer, there is no manipulation and no evasion. Both parties have the same goal, which is a safe and successful flight or business. And so the person on the other end can do the thing that's best for them, which is best for everyone, which is brought to you by a system of attraction. See how easy this client stuff is? I'm Steve Washer. See you next time on the 5-Minute Authority. Till then, wheels up.